Mandy and I welcome you back to The Chosen's blended harmony of the gospel. We're on day 25, part 1, the prodigal son. The parable of the prodigal son. He also said, a man had 2 sons. The younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the share of the estate I have coming to me. So he distributed the assets to them. Not many days later, the younger son gathered together all he had and traveled to a distant country, where he squandered his estate in foolish living. After he had spent everything, a severe famine struck that country, and he had nothing. Then he went to work for one of the citizens of that country, who sent him into the fields to feed pigs. He longed to eat his fill from the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one would give him anything. When he came to his senses, he said, How many of my father's hired workers have more than enough food, and here I am dying of hunger? I'll get up, go to my father, and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired workers. So he got up and went to his father. And I love this part, but while the son was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion. He ran, threw his arms around his neck, and kissed him. The son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father told his servants, Quick, bring out the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Then bring the fattened calf and slaughter it, and let's celebrate with a feast, because this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. So they began to celebrate. Now his older son was in the field. As he came near the house, he heard music and dancing. So he summoned one of the servants, questioning what these things meant. Your brother is here, he told him, and your father has slaughtered the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound. Then he became angry and didn't want to go in. So his father came out and pleaded with him. But he replied to his father, Look, I have been slaving many years for you. I have never disobeyed your orders, yet you never gave me a goat so that I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours came, who has devoured your assets with prostitutes, you slaughtered the fattened calf for him. Son, he said to him, you were always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and rejoice, because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. Okay, this is one of my favorite parables of all time, so let's go back and read some of these things again. First of all, the younger son says, Father, give me the share of the estate I have coming to me. So he, the father, distributed the assets to his 2 sons, and not many days later, the younger son gathered all he had, traveled to a distant country, and squandered his estate with foolish living. So first of all, it is really rude to ask for your inheritance while that person is still living. Basically, what you're saying to them is, you are dead to me. I have no more use for you. I just want to get what I'm going to get when you die. And so that was a really rude thing for him to do. And then second of all, I mean, he could have took that money and invested it or started a business or something. But no, he went and squandered it with foolish living. So he didn't even appreciate what was given to him. And then he's starving. No one would even give him what the pigs were eating. But when he came to his senses, he said, How many of my father's hired workers have more than enough food, and here I am dying of hunger? I'll get up, go to my father, and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired workers. So I feel like in this part, he at least gets it right. He realizes, I have done bad stuff. I've sinned against heaven. I've sinned against you, Father, and I am so worthless, and I'm not even worthy to be one of your hired workers. But he knows that he could go back to his father. So there's 2 things here. One, he's being humble enough to realize that he made a mistake. But number 2, he knows that his father will welcome him back. And that is a picture of our Heavenly Father who always welcomes us back. Now here's the best part of the whole story. So he got up and went to his father, but while the son was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion. And he ran and threw his arms around his neck and kissed him. Okay, there's several points in here that we need to look at. First of all, while he was a long way off. So he's far away. That means his father's looking every day was his heart breaking, and he was like, I love my son. I want my son back. So was the father every day doing this from the balcony of his big house? He was looking for his son. He didn't wait till the son crawled back and he's over here busy. Oh, well, my son's back. He was looking for him. He was expecting him. So that's the first point that I love. The second point is, when he saw him, he ran. Okay, men back in those days, they didn't run. They were dignified and they would just walk, and they had long robes. So to run means you had to pull up your robes and your ankles and feet were being exposed, and you would run. And you would look kind of silly because as a man, you just would never do that. But this father didn't care. His son had come back, and he was so excited about that that he picked up his robe, kind of got the skirts up, and he ran, even though he wasn't supposed to. And then the third thing is, when he saw the son, he could have been like, told you so, should have never left. He could have scolded him. No, throws his arms around him and kisses him. Now that is a loving father. And then the son says again, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father told the servants, quick, bring out the best robe, put it on him. Put a ring on his finger, sandals on his feet. Because he probably was barefoot, no more food, no more clothes, nothing. He was just destitute. And bring the fattened calf and slaughter it, and let's celebrate with a feast, because this son of mine was dead and is alive. He was lost and found. And so they began to celebrate. So I love it. I mean, he's pulling out all the stops, right? He's not like, okay, well, you're back and we'll just, have supper a little later. He's just like, bring out the musicians. Let's get the dancing going. Let's get the fattened calf. We are going to celebrate because my son who was dead is alive. He was lost and he's found, and we are going to celebrate. But not all is well. The older son who was in the field came near the house. He heard the music and dancing, and he summoned one of the servants, and he asked him what was going on. And the servant said, your brother is here. Your father has slaughtered the fattened calf because he has him back safe and sound. So you would think the brother would be happy, right? But oh no, he's not happy. Then he became angry and didn't want to go in. So he's outside pouting, seriously. So the father came out and pleaded with him. But he replied to the father, look, I have been slaving many years for you, and I've never disobeyed your orders. Yet you never gave me a goat so that I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours came, who has devoured your assets with prostitutes, you slaughtered the fattened calf for him. Okay, several points in here, right? He should be rejoicing his brother's back, but he's not. Not only is he angry, he was refusing to come in. He's outside the house, out the back door probably, and the father has to go out, and the father has to plead with him. Please come in. Let's just forgive everything and move on, right? But he's like, no, I've been slaving for you. I've been working for you. And it's true. The younger one went off, and the older brother stayed, and he was a faithful worker. All of that is true, right? However, Jesus is saying we have to forgive, right? And we have to show forgiveness to other people. And this is where the older brother just didn't get it quite right. He's saying, I didn't even have a goat. And it's funny because he doesn't say, when my brother come back. He says, when this son of yours comes back. So suddenly it's not his brother anymore, right? It's this man's son, right? He's not even going to claim him as a brother. But Jesus is showing that we all need to show forgiveness. But the father says, son, you are always with me, and everything I have is yours. But we had to celebrate and rejoice, because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. So now it's funny. The father kind of flips it around, and he doesn't call him my son. He says, this brother of yours has come back, right? He's reminding him he is your brother, and that we have to rejoice. And this is so true too. Sometimes you might think, well, I've been serving you forever, God, and I've been doing this my whole life and everything, and here's someone just whipping into the church at the last second. It's okay. If someone has been lost their whole life, we're just so glad that they're in. And so I just hope that you open your heart and your churches open their doors to people coming in. Maybe people have never heard about Jesus. Maybe they're the prodigal son. Maybe they're the ones who were in church and then something happened and they went away. But the fact that anybody comes back should just cause us to celebrate and rejoice, because the lost one has been found. So I hope you enjoyed this story today. I love it. There's so many great things to remember. We need to be like the father and be forgiving. We need to not be like the youngest son at first and ask for things that, we shouldn't be asking for and then go squander everything. But we should be like the younger son if we've messed up to go back, because we know our Heavenly Father will always welcome us back. And let's not be like that older brother who was all just like, I'm not going to participate in this. Let's be excited that somebody has come back to the fold, because Jesus, his desire is that all men are saved. So we constantly want to be bringing people back into the sheepfold. So be excited when someone turns their heart back to Jesus, and celebrate. Hope you enjoyed all this today, and we will see you again tomorrow for more Harmony of the Gospels. You can get your own copy of A Blended Harmony of the Gospels by The Chosen simply by going to thechosengifts.com. There you can find all kinds of wonderful merchandise to help build your faith this year. Be sure to check out their devotionals and their Bible studies. Have a blessed day.